Talking with Congressman Mike McIntyre from Washington, D.C. at this hour. Congressman, families of fallen soldiers were concerned they weren't going to get their death benefits, but we hear actually the House voted on that this afternoon.
Yes, sir. There was no excuse for that not having been done previously. We thought that the Secretary of Defense was going to handle that, but we made sure it got done today. And we know with the area of Eastern North Carolina we represent, we have many who have served our country and should have those benefits made available to them immediately. So we have taken action this afternoon, and now that should be in order.
Congressman, you were one of 2 Democrats in the House to vote to defund Obamacare. Then you were one of 2 Democrats in the House to vote to delay it, which ultimately led to this government shutdown. We're now 9 days in. Do you regret voting and crossing the aisle on this issue?
Oh, no. In fact, every vote I've had the opportunity, not only have I voted to delay the implementation of Obamacare and originally voted against it, of course, but we have also been in a position to continually fight this government shutdown. And let me tell you what the situation is now. This finger pointing and blame going on between the Speaker and the President is doing nothing but delaying a solution, and it's not benefiting anybody. As we know, families are suffering and businesses are suffering back home and throughout this country. Just now, I've come from another meeting of a group of Republicans and Democrats who are working together. We've probably got about 50 to 60 Democrats and 50 to 60 Republicans that are trying to work together to find a solution that we are trying to convince our leadership to listen to us on both the Republican and the Democratic side. Also, tomorrow morning there'll be a group, the No Labels Coalition that I mentioned to you last week, that has come together that is going to be having a press conference in the morning. I hope y'all can participate in that. And we're going to be talking about some proposed solutions to get this shutdown over with. Today I'm getting ready to go meet at the White House. We're going to have an opportunity for the Democratic caucus to meet with the President, and we're going to be encouraging him to meet with the Republican leadership, and let's get this thing resolved. In fact, I want y'all to know, and I'm telling you this as it's happening, I'm getting ready to present a letter to the President this evening as we're getting ready to go over to this meeting, encouraging him to do what was done when the Camp David Accords were signed in 1978, where we know at that time in the crisis between Egypt and Israel, the leaders of those countries stayed at Camp David and they met until they came out with a solution. And you know, it's really that simple. If we could get the Speaker and the President and the leadership of both parties to sit down and meet at the White House or at Camp David until they come out with a solution, we can get this thing done. The problem is people are talking past each other rather than with each other. So I'm going to be speaking at the White House this afternoon with the President. I just spoke with the Speaker twice in the last few days about this very issue, that it's a manner of our working together and talking together. And so a lot of us as members of Congress are doing that. We want our leadership to do that from both parties.
So the votes then to fund the government and defund Obamacare, did those lead to the shutdown in your mind, Congressman?
No, because we had an opportunity. That vote actually was a vote to help keep the government operating. It was to delay the implementation of Obamacare because of the problems it's causing for so many people and the uncertainty. But that same resolution had language to keep the government open. So it was a vote to do both. So the problem now is that we have intransigence on both sides. The leadership of both parties are not willing to sit down and talk together, whereas a number of us, as members of Congress, very much are already meeting and talking together. So the twice I've spoken to the Speaker myself, the meeting we've just had between a group of Democratic and Republican members, tomorrow morning's press conference with the No Labels Coalition to put all these labels aside and let's work together, and the meeting we're getting ready to have right now at the White House are all opportunities that we are pressing ahead to get a solution. We do not need to be negotiating under a cloud of constant crisis. We do not need to have people talking past each other, but there needs to be an opportunity to work together. And every time I've had a chance to vote, I have voted to stop this shutdown and to make sure we can get government back in operation. If we can open the doors to government running again, then we can have the debate on all these issues that people are upset about. But we have got to get the doors open, and that's what we're going to be encouraging both the Speaker and the President doing, and they're hearing that from members of both parties.
Congressman, a new poll out shows that 62% of Americans blame Republicans for this government shutdown. Given that you voted for the delay and defunding of Obamacare, do you take any responsibility in this government shutdown?
No, because the resolution I voted for not only would allow a delay of Obamacare so that we do not have people being penalized with the problems that they're having with getting Obamacare set up, and I've always voted against Obamacare, as is well known, but that same resolution allowed the government to stay in operation. The problem is now that the parties that are talking past each other are not willing to work together, let's get the government back open. But every resolution I have voted for included the opportunity to keep the government running or to get it back open once it's shut down.
Okay, so
And,
say,
I'm
sorry, Congressman, so say there's another
Yeah.
bill that comes in front of you that says we can get this government going and defund Obamacare. Would you vote again to do that?
My vote and my position has been consistently that we need to make sure the government is open and running so we can debate all of these issues. And people well know that I have not been in favor of Obamacare and have never ever voted for it. So we are in the position now, the question is just to get the government back open so we can move ahead. And I have stated very clearly that yes, I want the government to get open. And if we need further debate on these issues, let's debate them, but we've got to get the government open, and that's the point we're at now, is open the government. I will tell you that the group that I just met with of Republicans and Democrats both agreed that the point now is open the government. And all the debate about all these other issues, we can have that debate wherever anyone stands on that issue, but right now, let's just get the government open, and that's where I stand, and that's my message both to the Speaker that I personally delivered, and that we're now going to have an opportunity in a few minutes to go deliver at the White House.
I've asked you this question before, but I'm going to ask you again now that we've had a couple more days in. Everybody wants to open the government, and maybe there's a sense of distrust that the debate won't happen after the government is reopened again. Do you find that that being the argument on Capitol Hill?
John, I lost the last part of your question. I'm sorry.
I said basically there seems to me and a lot of Americans that there's a distrust on Capitol Hill of one side for the other. If the government is opened, one side is fearful that they won't get the debate they think they can have during a shutdown. Is that what you're feeling up there?
No, I sense that there's going to be a willingness to have wide open debate on any of these issues that people are concerned about, as there ought to be in a democratic form of government. But we can't even have that debate if we don't get the doors open. And that's why I've consistently voted to keep the government open, and why now so many of us from both sides of the aisle are trying to get the Speaker and the President to work together so we can reopen the government and get it going. I am encouraged that the talks are progressing now among members of both parties. We just want to make sure those talks progress between the Speaker and the President, because that's where we're at now, and that's why we're going to the White House right now to have that frank conversation.
All right, Congressman, we'll let you get over to the White House and
you.
get that conversation going, because I think Americans are really frustrated with what's happening there in Washington right now.
They are, and we are too, and that's why I'm glad there are several of us trying to meet together on a bipartisan basis to get this solution. We want to get the government back open. And thank you all very much. God bless you. My best to you all back home.
All right.
Good luck.
Thanks, Congressman.
Thank you. Keep us in your prayers. Thanks.